Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the O Show. My name is Owen, of course, the name after the show, and today we are going to talk about Nazem Kadri. I thought this would be a good chance for me to give my opinion on a topic right now, and also start a series where I want to start looking at individual players for the upcoming season and give an idea of what to look forward to, what their goals are, expectations, like what is the story with these players, and just to take a little look at them. So today we're going to start with a guy who's not even signed to an NHL team, Nazem Kadri. Now, reports recently say that he has been looking for and hasn't changed the number of $9 million. Now, if I was him, I would totally do the same thing. After having my best year of my career, I would totally be trying to cash in on that, especially trying not to budge. Because if I did really good, way better, double the amount that I've done in other seasons past, then I totally would want to cash in as well. So I get that. But I think any team that signed him to $9 million would be, I don't want to say throwing away money, but they could probably spend it and invest it in a few players that are probably have a better chance of really improving a team than him. So, what do I mean by that? Why do I think that's a huge overpayment? Well, other than his last season, let's take a look at the last 4 seasons. Now, of course, the last 2 years have been shortened due to COVID, but still, we're going to look at them. So, 2020 to 2021 season, 32 points in 56 games. Of course, it's a shortened season because of COVID, but still, 32 points in 56 games. I guess that's more than half a point per game, which isn't really terrible. But, I mean, if you compared that number to saying someone getting 41 points in 82 games, you'd still say that's not pretty decent. I mean, I know that's not the exact same percentage there, but you get the idea I'm trying to go for. 2019 to 2020 season, another shortened season due to COVID, 36 points in 51 games. Now, he got more points in less games, which is interesting, but once again, not really star-breaking status there. Now, the year before that, the most games that he's played in a non-shortened NHL season, however, he got shortened because of himself, 44 points in 73 games played with the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's the most games he's played in the last 3 years, 2 more than this last season, and it was on the Maple Leafs in their run. That was the year that the Bruins beat them in Game 7. I remember watching because I was in a restaurant at the time watching it live. But anyways, that was another topic. 44 points in 73 games. Once again, that's not the best number in the world. I've covered all these teams so far, and looking at that number, it's well, that's a guy's someone you want to keep on a team, but he's not anything remarkable. And then 2017 to 2018, 55 points in 80 games played. Now, that's the closest he's been to playing 80 games other than the year before that, where he did play 82, and I believe he got 40-something points, or it was basically in the ballpark range of what's on the board right now. Now, you get the idea what I'm going for. These numbers point to everything saying that he's been a I would say a 40-point player in these years. If you take the last 2 years, as in 2020 and 2021, 19-20, if you look at those years, I would say if you bump them up to the number 82 game regular schedule, I'd say he gets to probably, I could say 45 points at least. 45 at least. Maybe he breaks 50. But not much more above that. That's kind of where he's targeted for, I would say. Until this last season where he gets 87 points in 71 games played, completely obliterates all his other seasons and makes that his most points season in his career by a long shot. Now, if I was him, I would totally want to cash in on this, because if I was a so far career-long between 40 to 50 points guy, maybe some bad years with 30, then I would totally want to cash in on that type of money, right? Because if teams are thinking that could be what he's worth, I would totally want to cash in. But I think that would be a huge, huge overpayment, because he gets around the same amount. I mean, in these last 3 seasons, he's not anything remarkable, right? I totally think he's nowhere near worth $9 million. But let's just take a question here. He's looking for $9 million. What teams could actually sign him to the contract that he wants without moving or changing anything? Right now, we've got Detroit, Dallas, Chicago, the Islanders, the Ducks, Buffalo, and Arizona. Probably none of those teams he would really want to go to. If I was him, I would want to cash in by going to a potentially cup-winning team and get paid and try to go to a contender. And especially if he wants to go long-term. Now, he could sign short-term, and which I'll get to in a second. But out of this list here of teams, I would say he probably had the best chances with the Ducks. And actually, I said in my Ducks video, I think that would be a pretty smart match between those two sides. I think the Ducks would really benefit from having Kadri's nowhere near a bum. But I think they would benefit from a guy that does have that kind of tenacity in him to bring some sort of aggression to the team and also a solid at least 40 points guy to the lineup. And I think that would work really well to pair him with Zegras and all the rest of that team. I could even see him in a Ducks uniform. I could totally see that paying off there. I wouldn't see him wanting to go to Dallas or Chicago. The Islanders have been the word lately. I mean, I even made a stupid video about that. But I don't really think he would fit well with that system, to be honest. I don't think Kadri would really work well with that really defensive system. Now, the other word from Paul Bissonnette, who I'll get to in a second, he said that the longer it goes out, he thinks the closer he probably will re-sign with Colorado. Now, the thing about Colorado that I couldn't fit on the board here is that they have $3 million in cap space, a little bit more than $3 million, right? Now, the word is that if they try to re-sign him, they'd have to get rid of someone like Samuel Girard, which I guess that would work, but it'd clear out, I think, just shy or just about $9 million. That would clear just enough money, and if they would want to do that and re-sign him for 1 year, I guess that could work. The thing about it is that also recent reports are saying that Nathan MacKinnon might not be making such a tight, friendly team deal for his team, and he might not take what some people, like my cousin, would say $9 million to be friendly to his team. It's been saying he could get paid more than Connor McDavid, and get paid, that's more than $12 million a year. You need some cap space there, and they just locked up Nichushkin, they knocked Lehkonen and Manson. Add Kadri if they sign him long-term to $9 million, or even if he goes down a little bit to $8 million, but usually guys get paid the extra cup bonus because they won the cup with them, so we probably wouldn't really want to budge on that, especially for long-term with this 1-year amazing deal. So, and also personally for me, I think Colorado's best feature is how offensive their defense is, and Girard might not get the most amount of points, but I think if you move him out, you do lose that speed and skill that he brings to the table, and they'd have to find a replacement for him, and they'd already be so tight on cap space there that I don't know who they would be able to find and put in that position. Then also to mention that they'd got to re-sign Bowen Byram too. So they might be putting themselves into either a Leafs or kind of a Knights situation where you can't really bring in new young players and you got to get rid of the old guys, and things seem to tumble downhill. So, and also to mention, Colorado's assigning these guys to it would go along with their idea so far this offseason to re-sign guys that had one really good year / offseason like Nichushkin and Lehkonen and Manson to long-term deals. I guess throwing Kadri in there, you might as well finish it all out. And now, the reason this kind of inspired me to do this is I saw a clip where Biz was saying, he was like, people say he's a second-line center. Well, he's the best effing second-line center in the league, keeping it PG. And I guess I could agree maybe to that for this last season. But if you take a look at all these other seasons, another problem with Kadri is that in the offseason, he gets himself into a lot of trouble. Now, maybe he's calmed down. He didn't do that this offseason. But at the same time, it's 1 year. You can't go based off of 1 year's work. A lot of teams have go off of 1 year's work of players, and it has hugely backfired for them in the past. So I think teams should probably learn from the past and don't make the same mistakes. Because signing a guy like Kadri to $9 million for 1 year with 87 points, playing for a team that was kicking on all cylinders and is all about offense for another team to try to pick him up after this 1 year for $9 million, I think would be absurd. Especially when, I mean, what happens when you put a guy with Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, which I know that's not who he was playing with, but you get the idea. He was playing with guys playing so well as a team and a team around him with guys like Makar, McKinnon, Rantanen. I know he doesn't play with those guys very much, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. So 1 year for that, to have one good season to get that much money would be insane. Now, if the Colorado, I think would be a smart move for them is if they do bring him back to keep the Cup team together. But if you move on from Girard and you re-sign him for 1 year for $9 million, I could see that. I could see them doing that. I don't think any of these teams here would be really smart to do that because I don't really know if that'd benefit them. Maybe the Ducks. The Ducks are the only team that I could see making that move and maybe paying off from it. But at the same time, Kadri probably doesn't want to go for 1 year, because if he signs 1 year and he doesn't get the 87 points again, then you know that next contract is going to go way down from there. So if I was him, he's totally going to want to try to cash in on this big deal, and I think he'd be smart of him too. What team picks him up? I don't know. I do think that either the Islanders, the Ducks, or Colorado tries to re-sign him. Also, no one's saying about Detroit. Detroit would be kind of smart. I would feel like they could use that kind of tenacity from him. If there's anything Kadri can do is be a pain in another team's side. So any of these teams that would want that, maybe Dallas. Maybe Dallas wants to pick up to maybe fill in a little bit more of their depth there, but they still need to sign Robertson, so some of that money still's got to get eaten up. So I don't really know where he goes, especially if he's not going to budge from $9 million. But that's really all I have to say about this Nazem Kadri deal. I'm going to continue this individual player series, so if you have any ideas of who you want me to go over next, please leave it down below. And until next time, please pick up your free subscription by hitting that red subscribe button. If you like this video, leave a like, not a dislike. You can go down below to the comments and leave any comments, concerns, suggestions, reviews, or other sorts of feedback, comment, tangents, rants, and opinions, and tell me, where do you think Nazem Kadri go, and does he get paid $9 million? And if so, for how long? Do you think he signs 1 year, or does he try or does he get signed long-term to another team and maybe have one of the worst contracts in the league in a couple years? But that's all for now. Until next time, I've been Owen wearing a Scarecrow shirt. Too sweet, and ta-ta for now.